the object-oriented programming. The theory we know, the concept we know, technical aspect we know. But what about the applications? Without knowing the application and where you can apply all these concepts, that is more important. That's why this is my next question. What is application of object-oriented programming? Because we have already
Sir,
procedure programming. We have procedure
it's
programming.
it's
Yeah, you
mainly
please
used
continue.
for Sir, it's mainly used for system design where we are developing something and it needs modularity. It provides a reusability of code and it makes the code more readable. And since breaking up into objects provides
Hmm.
modularity function is greatly used in system design.
Hmm. Okay, good. So principle of the object orientations, we have the first point here. The in Python, object-oriented programming is nothing which is only the programming paradigm, as you already spoken to me, and it uses the two important and beautiful concept, that is the objects and classes. As we know, what is mean by the object and classes is, if you are part of the C++ or Java programming language, then we know about this part. So someone asked me, sir, before learning the Python, it is required to understand the C++ in Python. It is not a required portion, because everything we will see into the from the big and from the scratch module or scratch part in the Python as well. So no need to understand everything from the C++, Python, Java, but we are already familiar. That's okay. We can go that part only. So the purpose of the object-oriented programming to introduce with the real-world entities. Just like example, I want to implement something which is following by the real world entity. Just like the I need to create a program or solve a real life problem based on the room management and something which is required to anything, just like the hospital management, hotel management, this kind of thing, or book management in the library. These problems are followed by the real world problems. These problem can also solved by the procedure programming or the traditional programming, we can say. But things are many change which are not applicable, which are not suitable to solve the real world problems, because we are not able to identify the many things which are related to the real world problems. So a real scenario based problem we can easily solve, because we can easily define some objects which are following by the real world entity. The another name of the object is a real world entity. That is the point we have to keep in mind. And it has the many concept which is following by the object oriented programming, as we know, that is inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulations, and data hiding, information hiding, and other concept. That is the one point. Second point, in the procedure programming language, we are not able to hide something from the users, because inside the system what's going on we know as being a programmer, but user is not required to show everything. So we can hide something which are not required to describe or to give the details to the user. So we can hide, or we can hide the complex structure of the data or the complex structure of the our information easily, supported by the class features. So class is nothing which is already which is defined the hiding the some information or representing some information in a different way, so the user will not able to see. User just will interact the information only, but how the information insidely or implicitly is just manipulating, that is only managing by the class or other concept as well. So class is nothing which is a single unit or encapsulation concept, that is only possible, that is only possible. Oh, so okay. So the main concept of object programming to bind the data and functions. So functions means, as we already known to this part, member functions, which is representing the member of the our class or the data. Data is means the important component by which our information to be manipulated, and function just like the our structure or the information or the representing information by which we can understand all the things. So these all these two parts, that is the data and functions, are composed in a one part, that is known as a class. We will see, definitely we will see all the things step by step, so you can easily understand all the things step by step by the theory as well as practical as well. So this is the principle of the object oriented programming, we can say right now. Now, so next slide is telling me right now and telling to us what is object oriented programming. This is all the theory I have written over here, so no need to understand everything over here. This is for notes purpose I am giving you right now, but from our example we can easily understand. So what are the our two examples? We have a simple example, just like there is a car. So car could be a class, but what are the car's properties? Car properties could be just like a color, okay, the structure of the car, brand, model name, car size, okay, what is the price of the car, and other parameter by which is define the properties of a car. That means we have a car properties, and these properties also define the some behavior of the car. Just like a human body I can speak, so a human body can have the various properties, the organs, okay, the structure of the body. All these are the part, these are the just defining the behavior of the human. That is the reason. So these are the some properties from which we can easily understand. And other parameter could be of a human body, that's just like the height of the person, weight of the person, the structure, and how many organs or components from which the human body just compose all things. So these are the some example from which we can take. Another example I can take, the real example you can easily understand. Suppose you're talking about your mobile. So a mobile has various component. What are the components? What are the properties? Mobile company name, mobile screen size, mobile cost, and mobile weight, and mobile others parameter from which we can understand the all the properties of the mobile. That's why we have over here. So here, and real world entity could be anything. Real world entity could be just like our laptop, a mobile, or real world entity. We can also take the our human body example. We can take an example of the any animal, any real world entity from which we are dealing with the day to day life. That's the point. So all these things we can easily interpret by the object oriented programming, or we can say that is a OOPS programming language. So these are the things which are required to understand the object oriented programming. Now, so what are the main component the object oriented programming can deal? First one is a class. Next one is object, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, data abstraction. These are the some important components which describe the object oriented programming in detail. So these are what actually these are the some component of the object oriented programming from which we will try to understand the entire concepts of the object oriented programming based concept. Now class. Let me give you some idea. You have already known to just I'm giving the basic idea. Class is what actually? Class is nothing which is just only the structure of the our code or the program where we need to define the data member and member function. So the related objects can easily access. Just like example, I'm taking very real example. You are the part of this university, so you are able to access only the university data which are relevant to you only. Just like example, you have account on the beta, so from your account you can easily check your marks only, but you are only the person who can check your own marks only. You are not able to or not supposed to check your marks from your friends or other friends or other students as well. So it means that something is hiding from you. So marks data we have, but marks data is just relevant to you only, then you can easily see. So the class which is defined by for you only, you can easily access your information only. You are not supposed to allow to access the other information. That's the point we have to keep in mind. So we have a marks class, suppose that grade class. So the grade class, we are creating the object, we are creating the instance. So we are able to access only those information which are relevant to us, or we are have accessibility to access the our information only. But as a being a faculty, I have a right to access the other students' marks, all the students' marks, all the faculty's information. So what I'm just getting, so my I have a right, I have the accessibility to get the all the data from the students as well the faculty. This is the accessibility point. So from the accessibility or from the access specifier concept, I'm able to access the public data or private data. An object is nothing which is just only the small entity which defines the real world entity and by which we can access the properties of the class. So what is the properties of class? Two component. One is a data member and member functions. We will see definitely. And polymorphism is another important concept. As we know, encapsulation is just nothing. Encapsulation is just theoretical aspect of the class, and class is the implementation version of the encapsulation. Same definition we have encapsulation, as the name suggests. Encapsule the two parts. What are two parts? Data member functions. And these data member function in the Python programming are known as the different terms, that is the class attributes and instance attribute. That part we will see. Inheritance is just nothing which is the concept in the object oriented programming, by which we can inherit the properties of the one class to another class. It is just like simple example, your father is just having the very good properties, properties in terms of the some valuable or just wealth property. So you are able to access because you have a right to access, but your father is annoyed with you, so he is not giving you right. So what you are not able to access the wealth property from your father. So that's the reason. So you are not able to inherit some things from your father because the particular class or the particular father is not giving the accessibility. So based on this concept, we have inheritance. Inheritance means to inherit the some properties from the your parent class. So here we have a two type of the concept which is known as the parent class and child class. Data abstraction is just a concept of the object-oriented programming from which data to be representing by the abstract manner. And data to be hide from the user, which are not liable to access. The user which are not able to access. So the reason is clear. We are hiding the some data. So data abstraction means to abstract data. In other formation in the technical practically purpose, we have a concept that is known as ADT, abstract data type. Abstract data type is what actually there's an implementation version of the data abstraction, just like example of the stack and queue. If you have gone through the data structure, have you gone through data structure or not? Tell me yes or no. Have you gone through the data structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So in
sir.
the data, okay, in the data structure, you know the some important application of data structure in terms of the practical aspect. We have a stack, queue, linked list. In the stack, we have a two function, push and pop function. So as being a abstract data type, I'm just inserting something by the push function and I'm just extracting some data from the pop function. So what I'm doing, I don't know what is the code is written behind the or implicitly by the push or pop function. I don't know. But as a being, I'm just inserting something or I'm extracting something by using the two functions only. So the code which is written by the push and pop function, that is represented by the data abstraction concept, and which is totally hired by the users. But as a being user, I'm just accessing the information. So data abstraction built it like this one, and ADT is just nothing which is the abstraction data type, and ADT is basically nothing which is also part of the object control programming, but that is represent the implementation version of the data abstraction. That is a more important concept we have to use. And data abstraction we can also implement by only the important features in object environment, that is a class. So class is nothing which is the main important concept or main important features to understand the object oriented programming. That's why if you remember the slide, what I have written, just let me highlight. You can easily see programming that uses the objects and classes in the programming. So class is more important concept, and to access the properties of the class, we need an object. That's more important. So without the object, class is nothing, and without the class, object we can't create. So if we don't have a class, so we can't create the object. So object is nothing which is a property or the real world entity by which we can access the property of a class. And it doesn't mean class could be anything. So how we can access only the one feature of the object into programming, that is a class. So this is the most important concept. Encapsulation is nothing which is the implementation version of the class. And encapsulation and object class, it has a two parts. One is a data, another one is a function. Another one is a function. This is the point. So rest of the part, time to time we will see deeply along with the theory and practical as well. But you people keep in mind all these features. Okay, now it is clear, or should we move? Do you have any doubt, or can we move to the next slide? Just tell me. Anyone who have any doubt?
No doubts.
Okay. So now let me start from the class. Class is what actually? The collection of the objects. Can anyone tell me why it is known as a collection of the objects? Can anyone
So
tell
Sir,
me?
it
because a
acts as a
class can
blueprint.
contain many objects in one class, we can use multiple objects to access different methods and data members.
Okay, good, good. Have you ever implemented, or you have just gone through only study purpose?
So I've implemented.
Had implemented. So how many objects a class can have? This is a very simple ask question. I'm asking this is an interview question. So you just can give me the idea how many objects we can create from a class. Any limitation, any limit we have, or we can create the n number of the objects.
So there's no limit.
Okay. This is a good point because this is an interview question. So I'm sharing it with right now. So anyone can ask how many objects we can create for a class. So a class is a collection of the object. It means suppose I'm just defining a box like this box. You can easily understand. From this box, suppose this is my X class, and this class contain the two parts. One is a data, and other is a member function. Okay, I'm writing shorthand form member function. So these two parts are encapsulated in a one box, and this is reason this is known as the this is represented by the capsule, and this is encapsulating means by the enriched form we are encapsulating this one. So is the reason we have an encapsulation terms only, nothing else. And the implementation by the programming language we can do in form of the class. So a class can have a two component which are represented by the data and member function. It could be optional. You can define the blank class as well in the Java and C++. We can also define the blank class as well. So that is the more important one. And now come to the point. A class is a collection of the objects. It means if I'm creating the X class, so for this class, I can create the n number of the objects. I can create the n number of the objects. I can easily create because there are no restrictions. We can create the 5 or 2 or 10 or 20 objects. We can create the n number of the objects. So a class can have the x1, so and so xn objects. These are the point you have to keep in mind. So this is the reason it is also known as the collection of the object. A class always contain the blueprint of the prototype. Why it is blueprint? Blueprint means how many member functions can have, how many data member we can have, or what are the representation, what are the information we can representing by this one. This is the point. But before that, I would like to explain by some real example so you can easily understand. Just I'm taking a simple point. Suppose there is a this is a box. This is a very box only. So a box can have some properties. So what are the properties? What are the properties? Can anyone tell me? This is a
Length,
box.
width, height.
Okay, so length, width, and height is super. And color we can also get it. Okay, size we can represent by the length, width, height, and color we can also get it. Okay. Any other information you are remembering which are related to the box? Any other information you are related to this box? Tell me anything.
Some material.
Okay, that's good. So it's material type. Okay, so what is the functionality of this box? Tell me the functionality of
To store objects.
to store the object. Storing is the one function. Any other functions? Any other function you are remembering? Okay, if you're not remembering, no issue. We can go for this point right now. So let me take this one.
So security, like you can
Uh,
close the box.
okay, you can put the secure right now. So security, I'm taking only, nothing else. So this property define the data variable. Property define the data, the size of the box, the color of the box, the material type, and the material type could be the steel, board. Okay, other word you can take it. And this functionally define the member function, how the class can be functionized. So that is a storing. So if you remember the my top diagram, then this is the two parts of a class, data and member function. So data defines the data variables, and this is also represented by the properties. Member functions define the functionalities of the class. So now you can see that I'm taking the real example, the box example. So we are trying to solve the real world problems. That is reason object oriented programming known as the solving the real world problem, and which is not easily capable or solvable by the procedural programming language. That is the point. This is the reason. And just I would like to give you idea more. The attributes and method are given over. The attributes and method are nothing. Just these methods are known as the uh, member function. Now methods are known as the member functions, while attributes are known as the data member. Only naming convention. So attributes we can understand from the Java, while in the earlier C++, we have to use the term data member and member function. But in the Java programming language and Python programming language, we will use the term attributes and method, and nothing differences. So this is the point you have to keep in mind at the time of the interview. If someone asks you what is the attributes, so do not have any kind of confusion. Attributes means we are talking about the data members or the properties of the particular class only, nothing else. This is the point you have to keep in mind. So that's the point you have to keep in mind. And one more thing I would like to tell you, in any programming language, we have a two type of the data type. One is a predefined data type or user defined data type. So class is a one kind of the user defined data type, because we can define the this class as a data type, but according to a customized way. So this is a name is given over a user defined data type. So that's the point you have to keep in mind. But there are some classes which are already exist, we can't change anything, so those classes are known as the predefined class, predefined data type. So that those are under come into the primitive data type. That's the point you have to keep in mind. Just like the integer, float, these are the data type, but these are having the some internal structure we are not able to change. We are supposed to change, definitely the our programming or application or id may be suffered. That is the point you have to keep in mind. Now now this class concept is clear right now? Tell me yes or no so I can move ahead. Yes, any doubt?
Yes, sir.
So how we can define the class in Python? Okay, so it is very easy to define, just class name and class body. This is the just point you have to keep in mind: class name and body. So this class, the first letter, the first word class will be the keyword. So everything I'm sharing over here by the help of the notes, and you can also utilize this note for the your study purpose, more details. So we define the class with the keyword class. This is already spoken by me, so that's the point. Rather than the going the theory portion, just I just would like to explain the practical part right now, so focus on this concept. So this class is nothing, this class is a keyword, and this car is nothing, this car is a class name, and this pass is nothing. Okay, pass itself is a keyword. So what is the role of this pass? In the Python programming we have a little bit different, so we will understand from the very beginning part. So that's why I'm taking as initial label the pass rather than defining the class attribute or the or data member member function. So suppose there is a class I need to define as initial level, as a beginning level I need to define. So class car I'm taking. So how I can define? So let me jump to the Google Colab along with the practical part so you can easily understand. So now I'm switching to the my screen. I'm just switching to my screen to the Google Colab, then you can easily understand. Now I'm sharing Google Colab screen. Yes. Is it visible to all right now? The Google Colab screen I have shared with you all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm first. What you have to do. Those students who are already familiar about the Google Colab, it's good. But those who are not, no need to worry about that part. What you have to do, you have a Gmail account or Google account, and by the account you can create your new account on the Google Colab. So by this concept, you can easily write the program without writing anything, without installing any software. But internet definitely is required. So first, as an initial level, what I'm doing, I'm creating a new notebook, and I'm giving the name of this notebook as a class first, or rather than the class first, I'm giving the date. So along with the date, you can easily get it the information, and I will also share the code as well to you. So this is the untitled one is coming. So what I'm changing the 24.08 is today's date. So this is my file name. So what I'm doing, as a the hash symbol, I can write the comment. So this is right what I'm writing. For a helping purpose, let me just, yeah, okay. Now it is perfectly visible in the font size I've increased. So this is our first object oriented programming based program. So first I'm writing the class. I'm giving the name class car, and we need to put the semicolon. After put the semicolon, we need to write the pass. Pass itself is a keyword. So this is the initial level. I'm just trying to create the class car, but this class car is not known as a blank class. Okay, what is this class car? So what we have created created a blank class. Okay, let me execute this code in front of you, and then you can easily see the result. If there is no error, then our code will be executed perfectly within some of the millisecond or seconds. Else, if there is an error, so definitely we can get the error over the screen. Okay, so you can see over here in the very less of the microsecond the code is run. So without no doubt the code is run perfectly. Now it is clear right now. This is the first object-oriented program based we have created the class. This is blank class. Okay, now it is created. It is clear to all right now.
Yes, sir.
So what I have done over here. So I have created a class. The name of a class is the car, and I have used a pass statement in place of its body. Its body means rather defining the data member function, because of the why I have created the this blank class to write the pass statement. So the main aim was to show how you can define a class, not what it should contain. So that's why it has a blank class I have given over here. So while creating some point while creating the class, you have to remember the some points. Class is always created by the class keyword as usual, unlike the C++ and Java we have to do. In C++, let me inform you right now, the class keyword is optional, but in the Java it is mandatory. That is the point you have to keep in mind. And in the Python it is also mandatory to write the Python to write the class keyword for the Python programming language. And attributes are the variables. Attributes are the variable data variable that belong to the class. That is the point you have to keep in mind. And attributes are always public. If you remember the C++ and Java, so some data member function will be the public or private. But in this Python programming, what we have the attributes or the data member, what we are defining will be always as a public. If you are not defining the specifier, so by default it would be into the form of the public, and it can be accessed by the very important operator, as we have seen the Java and C++ as well. So those who have already used, so can you tell me right now which is the operator by which we can access the properties or the attributes of a class? Tell me right now if you remember. Suppose I'm defining the class, and after defining the class, I need to access the property of a class by using the object. So what is the name of the operator I can access? Can you remember? Yes, tell me right now. Yes, I need the answer. Yes, can anyone tell me right now so I can explain? Okay, I'm just giving the hint. By the dot operator, can we access the properties of a class? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is simple answer. These are the some interview question. Please keep in mind. So anyone can ask this kind of a question. Okay, in between, I would like to show something more. So this is blank class. So if how I can create the object of this class? Just tell me. Create an object of the defined class. It doesn't mean it's blank or not. Yes, how we can create? Can anyone tell me right now?
So
The object name.
class name and then object name.
Okay, so I'm writing the obj1, that is the object name. There's no keyword, so we can easily create. And what is the class name? That is a car, and we have to use this parenthesis. Please keep in mind. Now I'm just clicking on the run button, and after running, I'm able to see everything is going fine, so no error. And let me just type the uh, obj1. So what is the message I'm getting? Can anyone tell me right now what this message is telling to me? What this message is telling to me? I'm just writing
So
the
it is the
obj1.
so it is the address of obj1.
Okay, so it defining that is the class car which is stored at the address 0 multiplied 7f39nc62f7d0. This is the address. On this address the class was created, and we have an object by which we are getting its property. It's a good point. Rather than this one, we can also try to write like this one, so we can easily get it the same answer. There's no difference. If we need to see the status of the our location of the class where it was stored, so we can write over here what I'm writing here, the address the address of the class. Same thing I'm able to see by help of this one, so I'm writing the same comment over here. You can also utilize this file later on for your future purpose, so I will share it, don't worry. Now, after this point, let us move to the next part right now. Yes, tell me any doubt you have so far, or anyone who need to ask any questions, so please you can ask me right now. Yes,
So the
anyone who
two
need.
address
Yes.
so the two addresses are not same. It is different. So it is not the address of the class in obj1.
This is, yeah, this is the address of the object. This is the address of the object. That's the point I need to observe. What is the observation you are having good? This is the address of the object of the class car, and this is the address of the class. That's the point. This is the address of the object of class car. Now it is clear right now. This is the address of
Yes,
the
sir.
object of the class car,
Yes,
and this
sir.
is the address of the class. That is, yeah, this is the point. Yes, this is a good observation. So we're trying to speak about the object. So what is the class? Now we have seen. We will have a good example. Don't worry. But before that, we're trying to understand the small things which are required to understand for a good programming. So what is the object actually? The object is nothing which is an entity that has a state and behavior associated with it. So it may be any real world object like a mouse, keyboard, chair, table, pen, your digital pad, laptop, and mobile. I've already spoken. Your some data type just like the integer, string, floating point, even any number, dictionaries. All are the object. Dictionary set, tuple. We have seen into the Python programming as well. So all these are the some different objects from which we can store the information. We can access the information, and some could be the primitive, some could be the non-primitive, and non-primitive are customized by the user. So that's why we have given the name user defined data type. But the things which are already defined, so we have given the name primitive data types only, nothing else. So more specifically, any single integer or any single string is an object. So now the number I'm writing the 12, suppose. So 12 is what actually? 12 is an object, and the string hello world is an also object. But by the help of the data type, we are representing two different things. So 12 is a number and it is also object. Just like we can say it's a number constant value, we can say also different. But list is in also an object. If you remember the Python programming, if you have gone through the proper study of the list, then you can easily see a list is a kind of the object data type. You can also check the list data type you need to check. So you can also see the object data type. You can also see. I think you have gone through or not. I'm not. I don't know. But you must be remember this point when I need to check the data type of the list data type. If I'm defining list variable, so if I need to check its data type, so I'm able to see at the bottom side what I'm getting, object data type. So this is what this is a list itself is a object. I'm speaking right now on a Python programming that can also hold the other objects, because as per the definition of the list can store the multiple type of the values we can also store. Okay, that is the beauty of the list. So list itself is the object that can also hold the different type of the object, and though different type of data type could be the string or a float or numbers only. So you have been using the objects all along and may not even realize it. But this is a really thing point you have to keep in mind. You have already used the this kind of thing. So object. So object consists of the three important parameters. So let me speak one by one. What are the first parameter? State. It is represented by the attributes of an object. It also reflects the properties of an object. So state is what actually? State is defining the representing the attributes of an object. Okay, that is the point. So while learning the practical exposure, you will get the more and more details, but you need to keep in mind there are three parameters that defines the objects. So what is the first parameter? I'm speaking once again, state. State is represented by the attributes of the object, and it also reflects the properties of an object. Behavior. It is represented by the methods of the object. It also reflects the response to an object to the other objects. So if I'm talking about the class itself is the object, and object itself is a other things. So how they are reflecting, how they are relation. So based on the behavior, based on this behavior parameter, we can also understand this concept. Definitely by the help of the practical, you can easily understand more detail. Next is identity. Identity means it gives a unique name to an object and enable one object to interact with the other object as well. So in a program, you can't define the multiple or the same type of the variable. You can't define for the different data type. You can't use. Just like example, I'm taking the x. So x could be the integer or float, but I'm trying to write the x could be the integer, x could be the float. So the contradiction will be there. So that is not possible. So identity is more important. So some like the object will also represent by the same thing. If I'm defining the object of the obj1, as you can see over the screen, obj, I'm just defining the class car. So if I'm trying to define the obj1, so obj1 obj2 are not be equal. Let me show the my proof. Can I show the my proof? The obj1 is already defined. Obj I'm defining for the car. Okay, so obj2 already one is already defined, so I'm just trying to create. So what I'm getting is no error, because it's again just overwriting the previous one. Now I'm just creating the obj2. Obj2 is created. Now let me jump to the next part. Now see, If I'm trying to write obj1 is equal to obj2, what I'm getting, let us check. And let us print actually this one right now. Obj1 equal to obj2. Let us check what we can get it. Is it invalid or print is not possible?
So maybe you should add one more equal to.
Yes, that could be. So
No, sir, in the print statement.
only just let us check. I think it should give the response. Let us check. Yes, true. So object 1 and object 2 are representing the same value is true. Why? Because both are belong to the same classes. But I'm creating the object over two different classes. That is not possible. But the point you have to keep in mind, if I'm trying to print the other thing, this is I'm just considering to the printing part, and I'm just trying to print the obj1, and I'm also trying to print obj2. So let us check what we are getting. Okay, so obj1 and obj2 are equal. How we can say equal? Because both are belong to the same class. So we have created the two different objects that belong to the same class only. But if we try to create the object of two different class, that is not possible. Just like example, a equal to integer and a equal to float. That is not possible. So that's the point you have to keep in mind. So in normal programming, two multiple variable cannot be the same type as a programming rules or as a different the variable we can't create. So that's the point you have to keep in mind. So here we can also define the multiple object by the different multiple classes, no issue. But all the classes, all the objects belong to the same location. Why? Because these are just representing, these are known as reference variable. Why I'm getting the same object? Because let me write over here. uh, uh, objects objects are also representing representing a reference variable only. A reference variable. This is the point you have to keep in mind. Reference variable is also known as the reference variable, which are referencing to the class address. That's the point we have over here. Now, this is the point. So from this parameter, we have to understand the objects. So what are the its three properties? As a state and behavior and identity. If I take an example, very simple example, if I would like to speak from this point. Suppose I'm taking my example as I've taken the box. So box is just an identity. That is, I'm giving the box name. That is a triangle I'm giving. Just a rectangle or triangle or square type of the box here. Okay, just let me take the example. Box is a class, and it has its uh, identity. It has its identity uh, as a square, a rectangle, or any other form. Okay, or any other form, whatever you want to look like, you can also use. Now, so this was discussing about the identity. So what is its states? What is its behavior? What is could be the state or just attribute? Just tell me right now. What is the attribute of the box? Color, size. Okay. So this is the point, etc. I'm writing. Okay. And these attributes are nothing which define the state. Okay. This is the point you have to keep in mind. And I'm talking about the behavior. So what is a behavior? Behavior or its functions. Okay. So what is its functionality or its behavior? I'm writing here the functionality. I can better for generalized term. I need to write right now. Behavior of the functionality of the box of the box. So what is storing? Okay, so this is the behavior. What is the behavior of this class? To store the information. The student also is already spoken to me. The security purpose we can also, yes, we can also use. So what is the functionality of the such thing we can also use? Yes, our requirement. So I'm writing the etc. because it can have the multiple, depends on the requirement only. This is the real example which defines the, this is a real example to understand of an object. Yes. Is it clear right now? Yes, tell me. These are the three components. These three things are clear. One is identity, and next is state. As I told you, the three components we have, and behavior. So I have taken real example in front of you. Now it is clear. Yes. Anyone who want to speak any other example, you can also take. Yes. Yes. Anyone who need to ask any question? Now it is clear.
Yes.
Okay. So now let me just continue my part right now. This one. So object and object instantiations. So what is the object and object instantiation? I already I have explained by the my concept. Okay, that is a car example I have already taken. So how we can create the object is already explained by me. So no issue about that. And object instantiation means to initialize the to initialize or to active the object. Okay, so that's the point you have to keep in mind. So I'm writing here for notes purpose. You can easily check. So object instance means to uh, activate the object. That is nothing else. Just a simple or beautiful statement I'm giving you for idea. The object instance means to activate the object for use, for using, and nothing else. This is a statement you have to keep in mind. This is a tricky answer I'm giving you for the interview purpose, and no need to worry about that part. So what is the things I have just taken over here? If you remember my previous example, I'm defining x. X is the object name. Okay, I'm writing the class. So this is what actually from this code, x is an object, while class is a class. Supposed it. Okay, so from the this statement. So what I'm just writing, what I'm doing, I'm instantiation. I'm doing the instantiation of an object. This is a point you have to keep in mind. No need to execute this code because this is only the comment we have. So this is the for notes purpose I have put written over here. That is a point you have to keep in mind. Okay, okay, this one and okay. Now let me just explain the some method. Okay, so for this one I would like to share once again my PPT so you can easily understand. So I'm just going back to the my PPT and then you can easily see the PPT part what we have covered. Yes, this one, yes, we were on this point right now. So from this slide, we have already seen the class part and defining the class. Some point of the class Python, I will already explain by the help of the dot operator. You can easily access the properties of the class. The class definition, how we can define, already explained. How to define the class, already explained. No need to explain once again. And these are the some points I will explain by the after the object part. So first, let me complete the object part. So this is the object part. So as I've already explained, these are the three components you have to keep in mind. This is known as the three important component components of an object. Please, this is the point you have to keep in mind. First one is state, next one is behavior. I'm speaking once again. Please keep in mind for the examination purpose. So this state is also represented by the attribute, and behavior is just represented by methods. Method means the function. Okay, please keep in mind I'm writing here for notes purpose. Identity means the name of the object or enable to the object with the interact. That's the point you have to keep in mind. So to understand this behavior, this example, so you can go through this part. Already taken this example, or by the car example we have already taken, and by the help of the you can print. So what it will print? It will print the address. Okay, that is the point. And please keep in mind in the object-oriented programming, this is what object-oriented programming, object instantiations. Object-oriented programming means object instantiations we have to do. So this part we have already covered. I would like to explain the important part. You can also utilize this one self. Self is what actually? Self is what actually? This is the point you have to keep in mind. The self is a concept which is used to define two parts. As I've already explained, the class has a two parts. One is the attributes. Now I will speak to about only the Python related points only. Now the attributes. Another one is the methods. So this attributes means we're defining the terms we have to use a class attributes. This class attributes we can define by the our self ones. So class attribute can be defined by the two way. One is a self way, or other one is the other part. Next in the next class I will explain by the init. Method means you can also define the method by definitely by the def concept. So this is the Python way we have to use. So now self is what actually? Class methods must have extra first parameter in the method. So definitions. So how we can define the class attribute, how we can define the its method. So with the help of this class method, along with the methods, we can also use to pass something. So self means we are passing something to the our method that will take some parameter automatically to explain our idea, what we are passing. Class method must have an extra first parameter in the method definition. So we do not give a value for this parameter. When we call this method, the Python provides automatically. So if you have a method that there's no argument, but still have some argument, and this is similar to the pointer in the C++. If you have gone through the pointer or a reference variable in the Java, very important statement you have to keep in mind. If you have gone through the pointer in C++ programming, and if you have gone through the reference variable in the Java programming, because in the Java pointer doesn't exist. So if we need to access the address of the variable and we want to play with the address of the variable in any programming language, so pointer you can also use the C++, but pointer doesn't exist in the Java. So reference variable is more important in the Java programming. So we can also play with that part only. So it is just like the similar to in the pointer and the reference variable in the self we can also use. So when we call the method, I will explain by the help of the practical part, so you can easily check it. No need to worry about that part. So we will call a method. Method means some functions. So this object as a my object dot method. So my object is the name of the object, and method is could be the name of the method which is already defined. So we can pass the parameter arg1, arg2, and this automatically convert into the Python into the my class. What is my class? My class. What is my class? If you remember, that is a, if I take this example, suppose I can take the car dot xyz, and my object I can pass, and here, so this could be like this one. So this is all the special self is about. So no need to write everything like this way. If we have a simple programming way in the Python programming, we can easily see. So self is itself is a keyword, please keep in mind, and that takes the some parameter automatically. No need to pass the special parameters. So this is the example I'm taking over here. So class instance attribute I'm speaking right now. So first let me explain this one. So what this code is telling to us. Then we will jump to the our code and we will understand the code once again. Yeah, this one. So this is a class. The dog is a class which is represented like this by the help of the keyword. This is what actually. Can anyone tell me right now? This is a class attribute, and this class attribute we will use by the our methods. So we have the diff. So here what we are passing, this is a keyword. Please keep in mind this is a keyword, and this keyword is just nothing which is my object. Okay. So rather than the passing the my object or object, is better to pass only the self. So it will just see the function type automatically and give the information only. And this part is what this part is the this part is defining the methods or function, and this part is defining the data or properties, data properties or data variables of the class only. So with the help of the self, no need to write the object name over here, but the help of self dot name. So name is what? Name is the same variable we need to use over here. And what is the parameter you want to pass? You can pass. And age is the same variable and here. So please keep in mind this is the name and this is the parameters which should be relevant. Do not put the other information. Just string to the integer string we can pass. Definitely we can add error. So to avoid the things we need to pass the information properly over here. Okay, that is the point. So in the methods we need to use a self. So let me explain. Self is nothing which is a class method. This is the extra first parameter only. So you can see over here in the self is what self is only the keyword which define the extra parameter, and no need to write the object name over here. It calls automatically by the help by calling the its function. It calls automatically, and it just use a variable whatever we are passing over here. So by the help of the example I can explain, don't worry. Let us understand this concept by the help of the practical part, so more picture will be clear. In between you have any doubt, so you can ask me right now, so I can help you more better. Yes, in between you have any doubt? Yes, tell me. This is self first point. Any doubt over here, so you can ask, or yes, tell me right now. Or should I go to the practical part?
Practical part.
Okay, so I'm closing this part right now. I'm sharing the my again Jupyter, not Jupyter, the Colab screen. This okay now. Okay, so here I'm writing here. Let us understand. Let us understand the self keyword to access the data. Just keep it only right only. Let me class define the class XYZ. Okay. Okay. Now, what I can do right now? Can anyone tell me right now what I can do first? I need to define the I need to define the class attributes. So in the class attribute, I'm just defining only. Suppose I'm taking the first variable. So I'm writing the first variable, and just I'm writing only my name over here. Okay, just only. Here I'm defining the df, and here I'm just as initial value what I'm defining. I'm taking the underscore init. So what is underscore init? What is underscore init? If you remember the words, what is the underscore init? Can you tell me right now? If you have go, yeah, this is just like a similar to the constructor in C++ or Java programming language. So what I'm doing, I'm defining a constructor variable. So not constructor variable. This is a kind of the constructor. Constructor is what actually? Let me write over here. First I need to write the init underscore, and then I can write everything. Then I can explain over here. Don't worry. Before that, I would like to take some variables. So I've already taken the my variable name. That is the first variable is equal to my name, and then I need to write the self, comma, name, and age. Okay, these are the simple example I'm taking now. Yes. If you're defining the function, you need what you need to use a semicolon, or tell me yes or no. If you have gone through the programming, should I use a semicolon as per the programming rules of Python? Yes. Now here I need to write the self dot name equal to name. Okay. No need to write the comma. Whatever you want to use, you can use. No issue about that one. Self dot is equal to is I'm writing over here, and this is a simple code I have written over here, and I'm just here ending the my class, and let me check whether it is running or not. So let me check. Yeah, it is running right now, so no issue over here. Now I'm just writing the another code. So how I can define the my object? So first object I'm defining object 3. Already 1 and 2 already defined. I'm just defining the my class object XYZ. Okay, so if I'm just defining this, I'm just executing this code. So everything is going perfectly. Any problem, bro? Tell me yes or no. Is it true or is it not true? It's correct or it's not correct? Just tell me, it is correct or not? Yes, everything is in front of you. Tell me right now. It is correct or not? We are going to the right direction or not? Yes, tell me, any problem so far?
No, sir.
See, here, if you remember the one important statement, we have defined the function earlier. That was what we have used. We have used the only single underscore, and I've used the init and a single underscore. But for defining the constructor, you have to use the double underscore. Okay, so that's why I'm just rerun the code. I'm just re-executing the code. So now I'm getting the error. So why I'm getting this error? Earlier I was not getting the error. Please tell me right now. It is clear to all right now. Yes. Earlier I was not getting the error, but now I'm getting the error because earlier I was not defined the constructor. That's the point. Earlier I defined only the one function. So you just please keep in mind, for a better man, I'm writing here. Kindly use double underscore to define to define init method. Okay, like a constructor. I hope this picture will be constructor. This picture will be more clear. Else it would be like a normal method. Okay, this is a important statement you have to keep in mind. So why I'm getting the error? Can anyone tell me? So what I have to do right now while defining the object 3? What I have to do? What are the changes I have to make over here? Please tell me. How many parameters I have to pass? 3 or 2?
Two
In
parameters.
2 parameters. So first parameter I am passing, suppose I am passing the first parameter, this is the name of the person. Okay. and then comma, I'm passing the is. Okay, and not this one, is. Okay, just only random value. Now I'm trying to run. So I am not getting any error right now. That is the only point you have to keep in mind. This is the actual point. Now this the difference is clear right now. Earlier we have not defined the constructor by init concept, but now we have to use the init, so we have to use the double underscore. Please keep in mind that is the reason I have written over here. So you can define your object, you can define everything, but you have to keep in mind why I'm getting the error, but why I'm not getting the error right now. That's the only point. Okay, so let me complete this part right now. Right now, with help of the object obj3, I have already created. So with help of the object, what I can access the my information. This is already defined. So now how I can access the my information? Yes, tell me how I can access the my information. obj3 dot name. If I try to execute this code, so what I'm getting, this is code. So what I'm doing actually, from this statement, we are trying to get the past value. Okay, and this is what actually this is this is known as this is known as can anyone tell me right now? This is known as the accessibility of data by using an object. And this concept this concept is known as okay, this concept is known as the can anyone tell me what is this concept known as? Just tell me what this concept is known as the can anyone tell me right now? If we are instantiation of an object over here, so what this concept is known as over here? This concept is known as the accessibility of the property. This concept is known as the property accessing, and this is the concept is known as the using of of an ob of an object using an object to get class properties. This is the point. This is the concept. Properties or properties, multiple should be. This concept is known as the using an object to get the class property. So by the help of the class property, I'm accessing values, which is already passed by while defining the constructor, like the constructor by defining the init function. Unlike this one, we can also pass the obj3 dot is. So definitely we can also get the result like this one. So definitely 5775. This is the is value I'm getting over here. And this is the concept of the object oriented programming, not the fully, but this is the concept of the class and object so far we have seen. So that's the important point you have to keep in mind. So what is the biggest advantage of using class? The biggest advantage of using the class to organize the data is that instances are guaranteed to have the attributes and you are expecting something. So here what I'm getting the everything properly with the proper way. So all the about this class expires at what we have, which has the instance or just my variable name I have mentioned over here, and name and age some attribute. So you can use those attributes with confidence, knowing that they will always return some values. So that is the beauty of the object oriented programming, and that is a main concept over here.